From our studios on Northern Avenue in Yerevan, this is CivilNet's daily Armenia News Digest for Wednesday, October 9th. I'm Paul Chadurjan.
And I'm Maria Titizian. In today's digest,
Closing arguments in the murder of a military doctor.
Plus, why were they all dressed in fatigues?
And will it be Aliyev or Aliyev? Azeris head to the polls.
Later, 2 Armenian cities are celebrating birthdays this week. Closing arguments today in the sensational murder of military doctor Vahe Avedian.
The physician was a major in Armenia's armed forces, and he was severely beaten on June 17, 2012, at a restaurant and banquet hall complex called Harsnakal. The owner of the business, Rupen Hayrabedian, was a member of parliament at the time. Avedian was hospitalized and died 12 days later. Several men were arrested in connection with the beating and subsequent death. 5 of them were charged and remained behind bars without bail. Their trial has continued for several months.
And today in court, one of the defendants took complete responsibility for the beating. The unexpected confession from Nora Hayrabedian will throw a new curve in deliberations when the trial continues.
On October 8th, the government of Armenia held a special session to hear about defense preparedness.
The meeting was part of the Response 2013 Strategic Command and Control exercises. Members of the government reported to the Prime Minister on steps aimed at eliminating threats and self-defense. What was extraordinary about the session was that the entire government, including women members, came dressed in fatigues. Prime Minister Dikran Sarkisyan has not served in the Armenian Armed Forces, and of the remaining 16 male ministers, 11 have also not served in the army. Also dressed in fatigues and taking part in the session were the adjunct bodies of the government, including Yerevan City Mayor Daron Markaryan, who himself has not served in the army. With some limited exceptions, military service for all men over the age of 18 is mandatory in the Republic of Armenia. As expected, there has been a lot of reaction to members of government dressing in fatigues when they haven't actually served in the military.
Lilit Lalayan posted a picture of herself in fatigues on Facebook, writing that she finally understands that she's like some members of government because she too hasn't served in the army but can wear fatigues and show off also.
Naira Khachadurian writes, "It's a total circus."
And Grigor Hayrabedian writes, "This is the state we find ourselves in because anyone can decide to play any role they want, even playing soldier." Today, Azerbaijanis go to the polls to elect their next president. Incumbent Ilham Aliyev is seeking a 3rd term as president. In 2009, the parliament amended the constitution to remove term limits, opening the way for Aliyev to be re-elected. Most of the opposition forces in the country have rallied around Jamil Hasalni, who is seen as Aliyev's main opponent. Tensions in Baku leading up to the elections have been tense. Last week, a group of journalists from independent and opposition media outlets were attacked by pro-government mobs during an opposition rally. EU officials have expressed concern over the government's continued pressure on opposition activists, civil society, and independent media in Azerbaijan.
A conference on the demographic situation in Armenia, organized by the UNFPA, took place yesterday in Yerevan. CivilNet live-streamed the entire conference. Some of the topics discussed included the effects of international labor migration on rural households, contraception and abortion in low-fertility setting, fertility laws and state policies. Before the conference, we spoke with Vahan Kololian and Ani Avedian, who prepared one of the research papers for the conference entitled The Depopulation Crisis.
We should understand that migration is a consequence of the not sufficient quality of life. From the recent years, we have a tendency that people are looking better quality of life, not just the standard of living, not just work,
or
high-paid job.
Yeah.
People are looking for human rights protection. First of all, property rights protection, which we have a low level, quite level low of property rights protection. Corruption, through democracy,
rule of law, social justice.
Yeah.
To watch the conference in its entirety, you can go to civilnet.am. This weekend, our capital city turns 2,795 years old.
Erepuni Yerevan celebrations will take place over the course of 2 days, October 11th and 12th. Yerevan city officials promise that it will be a festive, celebration with a number of events taking place throughout the city. CivilNet will be bringing you coverage of the festivities. Yerevan is one of the oldest continually inhabited cities in the world, even older than Rome. It became Armenia's 13th capital in 1918 during the First Armenian Republic, and the first official celebration of Yerepun Yerevan was held in October 1968 when the 2750th anniversary of the foundation of our capital was marked. That's pretty old.
It is.
And yesterday, October 8th, the historic city of Etchmiadzin celebrated its 2698th anniversary.
We have a lot of old cities. It was on this day in 405 AD that Mesrop Mashtots returned to the homeland after creating the Armenian alphabet. His first stop was in Etchmiadzin on October 8, where the Armenian people greeted him. Etchmiadzin Day celebrations and festivities will last for 3 days, culminating with a parade, which will end up at the Gomidas Square in the center of Etchmiadzin, and a play depicting the creation of the alphabet will also be performed. On October 13, Armenia's second largest city, Gyumri, will also be celebrating.
This is a big honor. Gyumri was recognized as the cultural capital of the Commonwealth of Independent States for 2013 during the council session of CIS directors last year in 2012. A number of events will be organized celebrating the rich cultural heritage of Gyumri. Before we go, Maria, we got a couple comments we're going to share with folks.
Yes, Gadi Mikhaelian from Chicago wrote, "Your digest gives me the small dose of the needed serum to carry my Bantucht life forward."
And George Andragolian from California writes, "Armenian News Digest is concise and to the point. Many thanks to you." And he goes on to suggest that we should add 2 or 3 minutes of commentary or editorials on important subjects relating to Armenia. He says, quote, "Armenian people need direction on many extremely important issues and challenges. They are not getting direction from the government, so media has to carry out that extremely important responsibility," end of quote. Thank you, George. We also heard from Rubina Kasparian from the Bay Area in California.
Rubina writes, "I'm so addicted to your reports on CivilNet. The two of you are such a great team, and your professional reporting are a true reflection of your teamwork. Keep up the good work."
Thank you, Rubina. We also want to hear from you. Our email address is simple, english@civilnet.am.
And before we go, here's a look at the exchange rates for October 9.
1 American dollar is worth 405 dirhams today. 1 British pound gets you 651 AMD. The euro is worth 550 dirhams, and the Russian ruble buys you 12 dirhams.
And what's the weather like in the homeland for the rest of the week?
I'm the weatherman today. The 4-day forecast in Yerevan looks like this. The high for today is 18 degrees Celsius, which is 64 degrees Fahrenheit. The temperatures will be around 70 degrees for the rest of the week. Overnights will be around the low 40s, so get your blankets out and use them.
And your sweaters. That's it for our digest for this Wednesday.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Manak Parov.